Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be showing us how to cut and sew this beautiful two-piece set. So first of all, let's get into work. For this tutorial I'm going to be using a soft poly material for this, and this is 4 yards. So as you can see, it's virtually very stretchy. Okay, one of the characteristics of a poly material, very stretchy on both ends. So I'm using this because it's a bit heavy, and that kind of looks like a little bit of a pullover type of feeling, okay, or type of look, but then it's a very nice outfit. So that's why I had to go for this instead of using a crepe material. So in making this, if you already have a pattern on how to make a trouser, you can definitely go ahead and then use that. You will need your scissors, your ruler, your tape, and also a chalk to mark this out. But for me, I'm not going to be using a pattern, so I'm going to be drafting it out on this fabric so that we all can follow up with me. So I'm going to be marking now. I've already marked for my that top part to be I'm going to be having the waist measurement. So the next thing I'm marking here right now is just from the waist. Okay, that's the first top part of the fabric down to where my hip point is going to start. And I've also gone ahead to mark out the distance from my waist point down to where my knee is going to stop. So at this point now, be sure to take your complete measurement for the top and also for the trouser before you go ahead to mark this out. And also you can also see that I've also marked from my waist line down to where my crouch line is going to stop. Okay, that's the third line on this fabric. Sorry, I lost the clip where I did that. So what I'm just doing now is dividing my waist measurement into 4, and that's what I just marked out now on the waistline. So what I'm going to do at this point is also to go ahead, okay, from the waistline I'm going to mark out the same thing on my hip point, but then I'm going to measure out my hip point and then divide it into 4. Then whatever I have is, if it's more than that on the waistline, I'm going to add the additional inches to the hip line. So now on the crouch line, whatever it is I have on my hip point, I am going to be adding 4 inches to that on the crouch line, because the crouch line needs to have enough ease within so that it will not end up having those folds you used to see in front of the trouser. Just to avoid that, that's why I'm doing this on the crouch line. Okay, so the same measurements you have on your hip is what you're going to have on the crouch line, but once you mark that out, make sure to add 4 inches or more depending on how large your backside is. Okay, so right now I'm going to be dividing my knee measurements by 2, and that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be marking that out at that point on the knee position. So you may be wondering why I am marking this out like this. Well, I'm going to be using this other side, this part you're seeing now in front of me, as the crouch area, while the other side is going to be the side. Okay, that's the other part where I'm standing. Don't worry, I'm still going to show you guys this. So now what I'm going to do now is to go ahead and then connect these dots. Those dots are just marked out together. So right now I'm just going to go ahead and then form the crouch curve at this point. So what I'm going to be doing, what I like to do is to mark 1 inch from this crouch line upwards. Now this 1 inch from like what you're seeing me do right now, this 1 inch is going to help form the base for the crouch so that I can have a proper round curve on the crouch when I'm actually drawing it out. So just look at what I am doing. So once this is done, the next thing that I'm going to do is to go ahead and then complete this dot, like mark the lines and then put them together. So from this crouch point now, I'm going to be connecting these dots to my knee point and also down to the ankle point. It's just so unfortunate that my camera or my phone is not large enough for you to be able to see where the ankle stopped. Okay, but it's just a straight line from this place down to where my ankle stopped. And also under your ankle area, if you didn't mark it, what you mark there, you're supposed to be measuring your ankle and then dividing it by 2, not by 4. Do you understand? Divide the ankle region by 2 and then mark that out. The next thing is for me to go ahead and then draw the lines together just so that I can get the sides of the trouser, because mind you, what we're marking out now, this is the front part that you're marking out, that we are actually drafting. We're not drafting the back yet. So I'm going to be connecting these dots together, okay, so that we can have the side, the full side for the front. Then is this front now that we are going to be using to draft out the back piece. After that, the next thing we are going to do is to add 1 inch seam allowance to the side of the trouser and also to the inner thigh. Note, we are not adding that to the crouch, okay? We are adding it only to the side and also to the inner thigh. And that's what I just did now. So the next thing for us to do at this point is just to go ahead and then cut this out. So once that is done, the next thing is for us to go ahead and cut out the bag. So using the front, I place it on a different fabric altogether. Still poly, okay, but like a different part. That's what I'm going to be using to cut out the bag. So this is just like the easiest way to cut out the back piece once you've gotten the front piece. So right now what I'm doing is to add an additional 1 inch since the back, considering the ass of the person. So I'm actually adding 1 inch to the side and also to the crouch and the inner thigh, okay? But you can definitely skip the inner thigh though, since you've already added that to the sides. But note that the inches that you're adding to the side should make sure it finishes off, okay? It shouldn't get, the 1 inch should not get to the ankle. Make sure that as you're drawing it out, just like what you see me do now, it should finish off at least after your knee points. The line should finish off. So in drafting out the sweat top, what I'm going to be doing is this. First of all, the remaining fabric I have, I'll fold it over into 2 like this. Then I'm going to fold it over again into 4 in this manner. So note that the original sleeve is going to be coming out from the main bodice before we can now attach any other sleeve to it. So at this point now, my shoulder measurement is 21. Like I actually extended it so that the sleeve can come out of the body. So with that 21 now, I'm going to fold that and then divide it into 2. So that's what I'm doing right now, and that's what I'm going to be marking out at this point. The next thing is to divide my bust measurement into 4. And that's what I'm doing, and I'm going to mark that out at my bust point. So right now, I'm going to mark this out here. And then that's the same measurement I'm going to take down to the waistline. So I'm not going to be marking anything on the waist or any other measurement like that. So that's the only measurement that I actually need. So at this point now, what I'm doing here is I marked out my round arm, okay, and I literally extended it. So what I had there was 17. So that's 17 now. I'm going to be dividing it by 2, and I'm going to be marking it out here, which will now form the opening of the hand. I don't know if you're getting what I'm doing now. So that is what I'm going to be doing. So at this point now, we are just going to go ahead and then mark out the neckline. So I'm still going to be using the normal 3x3 that I do use to mark out the neckline. So this is 3 inches here by 3 inches here. But note, at this point now, we are not going to cut it out. Okay, we are not going to be cutting out the 3x3 inches first, because we need to take out the front parts so that we can have a different cutting for the bag. So I'm just marking this out just so I know we've gotten that out of the way. So what I'm going to go ahead and do next now is just to go ahead and then mark out the one for the back. So the one for the back is 1 inch at the back, which is 3 inches by 1 inch. Do you understand? So that's what I'm marking out here. So at this point now, whatever it is you're seeing here is both the front and the back neckline. So the one I'm going to be cutting out here now is going to be the back neckline. So once I cut out the back neckline, I know it's not going to affect the front neckline. So that's why I'm doing this. The next thing I'm going to do is to connect these points together. Remember the opening on the armhole and also down to my bust point. So I'm just going to mark that straight down to the waistline. So I'm just going to cut these points open and then also cut it down to where the length of the blouse is going to stop. So that's the only measurement I have here, and that's what I'm trying to cut out right now. So once you're done cutting that out, it's time for us to demarcate and then take out the front and also the back. So what I'm doing now is to take out the part that I want to use for the front and also the part I want to use for the back. So mind you, at this point, any of them can actually be the front or the back. Do you understand? So right now, since I've already cut out the first round part on the neck, which was the back neckline, so the one I just took out now is the back because it already has that particular neckline. So I'm going to go ahead and then cut out the 3 inches that I actually marked out first. So this now automatically becomes the front. So for the hand, the extra hand that we are going to be adding to this, I've already gone ahead to fold out a fabric like this. So I'm just going to make sure that it actually aligns with this sleeve, the very first sleeve that came out from the body like we had before. So make sure that this other part that is round comes up, while this other part that looks splitted goes down to the other side. If your fabric is placed like mine, please be very careful while doing this, okay? So that's what I'm actually rotating. That's what I'm doing now. So right now, this is the correct thing to do, so that it wouldn't come out looking like you joined the hand on this other top part. It doesn't look nice. So yeah, that is just it. So be sure to leave 1/2 inch on top of the shoulder so that we can have what to use and close it together, okay? So right now I'm going to go ahead and then mark out the sleeve. So the measurements I'm using around my elbow measurement is 14. So I'm going to divide that 14 inches by 2, and that's what I'm going to be marking out at this point. So that's the measurement I'm going to use because I don't want it to be too fitted on me. I just want it to be a little bit free, just like how you can see on the image, on the thumbnail, the picture I used earlier. So that's what I'm going to be using. So at this point now, I'm going to go ahead and then mark out the 14 inches and then try connecting that down to the underarm, right? Then I'm also going to mark that down to my wrist area. So my wrist area, I'm going to be using 9 inches. So that 9 inches now, I'm going to divide it by 2, and that's what I'm going to be marking out. So make sure that once you mark this out, we're not going to be adding any other seam allowance because already the inches is actually going to be a bit loose on our body, okay? So right now, if I take out 1/2 inch from that, for what it is, I've already marked out, it's not really going to disturb the style of the outfit. So that's why I'm not adding any 1/2 inch allowance or anything to this because the top is already large on its own. So I'm just going to go ahead and then cut this out. So in making this, we are going to start first with the top. So now I'm going to be opening the top over like this. So this is the back part, and then I'm going to bring over the top part to align with this. So what I'm going to do now is to go ahead and then join the shoulder and also hem around the neckline. So that's the first thing I'm going to do before we go ahead to attach the sleeves. So once that is done and then taken out of the way, it's time for us to attach the sleeves. So I'm going to be opening it up like this, and then we're going to bring in the sleeve and then open it up and also attach them together. So once this is done, the next thing you're going to do is to go ahead and then close the side seams together. Now before this, be sure that you hem around the opening of the sleeve. That's the ankle area. Sorry, that's the wrist area. Sorry about that. That's the wrist area. And also hem around the down part of the blouse. Okay, the length of the blouse. Just hem around that part too. So that once you close the side seams together, it's going to come out looking very neat. So as you can see on the down part, I ended up using the double hemming method. So that's why it's looking like a ready-made outfit like this. And I'm also going to do the same thing to the sleeves, right? So if you have the time, you can also go ahead and then do this for yours. So for the trouser, this is what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to go ahead and then use 1/2 inch seam allowance and just close this place down like this. That's the crouch line. And I'm going to be doing the same thing also to the back. Now once that is done, this is how it's looking like so far. So the next thing we're going to do is to open it up in this manner and then bring in the front and just place it over this. And the next thing we're going to do is to attach the pocket towards the sides of the trouser. So if you don't know how to do this, I already have a video on my channel on how to cut this pocket and attach it. So it's on my channel. Just go ahead and then check out how I did that. Then you will understand how I'm doing this now on this video. Though I'm still going to be explaining a little bit more on how I'm going to do this. But on how you're going to cut this pocket out, please check out that on my channel. You will see the full video on how I did that. So in attaching this pocket now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to mark out from the waist region down to where I have 5 inches, okay, down from the waist region. Now this is where the pocket is going to start from. Now from that 5 inches, I'm going to be marking down 6 inches, okay. So on that 6 inches now, because this trouser is actually, the fabric I'm using for this trouser is actually stretchy, so that's why I'm going to be making use of that 6 inches, and my arms are going to be able to pass through that angle, so that's why I'm using that. Or you can definitely use 5 inch. It all depends on how free you would want your hand to be. So that's what I'm going to be doing, is to bring in the pockets. So what I'm going to do now is to bring in this pocket and then try to align them, okay. Make sure that this marking is actually at the center, like the closing of the pocket should literally be up to like 2 inches or 1.5 inch, just like what you're seeing me do. So I'm just going to mark, what I'm marking now is where I'm going to close up, leaving the center, which is the opening. So that's what I'm trying to align with the trouser. So I'm going to sew this place down and also these other parts down. It has to align with these parts on the body of the trouser, okay. So now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pick it up like this, and then I'm going to sew it down from this top part down to this point. And I'm also going to do the same thing on the down part. So once I'm done doing that, okay, I went ahead to sew it down from the waist. Just watch that video that I did for the pocket, you'll understand everything. So the next thing is for us to go ahead and then close around the inner thigh area and also fold or hem the ankle area on the trouser. So let's move over to the waist area of this trouser. So I went ahead to cut out a small piece of fabric like this. So what I have here is 3 inches, okay. This is the width, but the length is the normal waist length around my trouser. That's the normal length of what I have here. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to place this on the right side of my trouser in this manner, starting from the side. Then I'm going to sew this all around. So now this is what I have. The thing is to cut out the elastic that we are going to be using. So elastic, the length of the elastic I'm going to be using, this is 1 inch elastic. So what I'm going to be doing now for the length, I'm going to be marking out 26 inches. So this 26 inches now, you can notice that I have actually subtracted like 4 inches out from my normal waist measurement. So I'm going ahead to sew the 2 ends of the elastic together, just to join them together so that they can be secured. So at this point now, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to place it inside the band. So what I'm going to do now is to fold the band this way. Now remember the part that we actually joined it together with the waist, the original waist of the trouser. So it must align with that part. So I'm going to be folding in 1/2 inch inside like this. So you're going to go ahead and then hem it around. So be sure not to sew on the elastic, just sew only on the fabric, okay? So once you're done, this is how it's going to look like with the pockets and everything in it. And since you've already gone ahead to make, I was really proud of how I did this waistline because I really like the way it turned out. It actually looked like a pullover type of fabric, okay, type of outfit, and that was the look I was actually going for. So once you're done with that, and also you're also done with the top or the blouse, this is what we have as the final outlook or the final outcome of it. So I hope I tried. If you guys found this video helpful, please share this video, give me a thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on your post notification bell so that anytime I upload another video like this, you'll also be one of the people that will be notified, okay? So please leave me a comment in the comment section and let me know what you think about this outfit. And until next time, see you guys on my next video. Bye guys.